must be unsettling for the people who work for him in foreign affairs or the Environment Canada, the actual professionals who work for him. I'm aware of the language issue around humanitarian law and such. Are you getting contacts from the professional civil servants about the drift at foreign affairs or environment or the other departments?
Well, certainly, and in fact, this summer it was brought to my attention the changes in language. So no longer use the term child soldier. Humanitarian law was just international law, or sorry, international humanitarian law just be changed to international law. An area where I've been interested in seeing what Canada can do more of is the Congo. In particular, the horrific gender violence is occurring. You know, rape is a weapon of war, and the fact that we need to look at the impunity. Well, according to the Harper government, we and Mr. Cannon, we shouldn't be using the word impunity anymore, and we should just look at prevention of sexual violence. Well, no, it's already happened, and having to deal with a situation where sexual violence is occurring and has occurred, and say, well, you're just going to talk about prevention and not look at impunity, is I don't even have words to describe. Really, it is at the end of the day, our country that has signed on to treaties that look at protecting children in terms of the vagaries of being recruited as child soldiers. It is our country that was behind two resolutions, 1325 and 1820, that look at having women be involved in peace processes and to deal with horrific violence against women and gender violence and deal with impunity. And to all of a sudden just say, well, we'll flip a switch and we won't use those terms anymore, actually says that the commitments we have to those treaties don't matter anymore. So very discouraging. And the people who work over in the Pearson building, yeah, they're very discouraged and dismayed, and they're wondering where our country is going. It's not just about a government in power. It's about, when you're talking about foreign affairs, it's about where's our country going? What's our place in the world? And what we've seen is our role has diminished. We aren't as supportive of multilateral policies as we have been. And we're shrinking, and it's happening. It's happened in a very short period of time, and it should be of concern to all Canadians. And I think it's really interesting to see public servants coming forward and speaking out. Some of them are very intimidated, of course, and I understand that, but they've decided to speak out, and that's what happened this summer when the language changes came forward. And I've heard from others on different other issues, and people equally dismayed. And the other thing people should know is that when you look at the support financially to the various departments, we've seen a huge spike in the budgets for D&D. We've seen CEDA flatlined basically for their work for development overseas, and DFATE has had their budgets cut severely. So, this isn't some weird conspiracy theory. This is evidence-based. We're changing language. We're affecting our positions and our commitments to treaties in the world by doing so. Less money is being given to, our diplomatic, support through DFATE. And at the end of the day, we have a government that doesn't really want, I think, to see Canada be present in a multilateral forum, and it certainly is not committed in a way that most Canadians would like to see us committed in our obligations overseas.
Finally, this past week, the government tried to fast track Colombia trade legislation. Do you expect that at the G20, Stephen Harper will be promoting these kinds of bilateral corporate trade deals, and what's in it for him? Why is he promoting these?
Well, the fig leaf he has is the collapse of Doha, and instead of doing what I think most people like to see, and it's not easy. I mean, resuscitating the notion of Doha and having international agreements that are going to provide equity for all, so to speak, is a tall order. Instead, what he's done, and the strategy has, is these one-off deals. He'll do a trade deal with anyone, And when it comes to Colombia, with a very dubious administration that is notorious for human rights abuses. I mean, the Congress in the United States wouldn't allow the government to, and that was when the Bush administration was in, to enter into a free trade agreement with Colombia. But we rushed into it. I mean, that's pretty stark. When you have Canada rushing into a trade deal with a country that, at the time, the Bush administration, because of the Congress, was basically told, don't go there. We have. And so it shows a lack of commitment to fundamental human rights, to fair trade notions. And this notion that you can sign a, quote, free trade deal with anyone and not have repercussions of that is basically incredibly naive. To think that you're going to be able to gain by going into free trade agreements with countries that there is no natural association alone makes no sense. And again, I go back to the multilateral approach. These are the guys who told us all to get with the program of globalization. Well, for me, that means that you need to have multilateral solutions to multilateral problems, and nothing is in isolation. They were selling us this notion that everything's connected. Well, many of us agree to that. So you can't just pick and choose and say, well, when it comes to trade, we'll just go with certain people and not have a comprehensive framework around these agreements. So, I think what's happening now is that he's trying to brand himself as opening up new economic frontiers, and somehow this is going to lift all boats up. Well, when you've got, severe holes in your boat, it doesn't bring them up, it just potentially sinks you. And I think that's what these agreements are, just putting more holes in the collective boat that we're all in. And that's really sad.
Thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate your time today.